already drank that whole shake? This is green zircon from Tanzania. This particular piece of rough is just under 3 carats, 2.97 carats. And I'm going to use this piece of green zircon for our project. As far as zircon goes, green is the rarest color. So I'm pretty lucky to have a few pieces of green. Now for a design to cut a round stone. I'm looking for a design that BOPIE, my wife, may find interesting. A design which I have not cut before. I've had a lot of luck finding awesome designs on the website called Gemology Project. So that's where I started looking for a design to cut this stone into. I've cut designs from this site by designers such as Marco Voltolini, which were very fun to cut and made brilliant gemstones, as well as designs by Arya Akhavan, whose designs I also enjoy cutting. There are a lot of other designs by other designers on the site, which I haven't cut yet, so this was a good place to look for a unique design. And when I came across this design called Sunset Vista by Arya, I knew it was the design I wanted to cut next. Arya says this design has great tilt performance, which means that not only do you get sparkle when you hold the stone face up and look down at it, but it also has great sparkle when you look down at the stone and you tilt it back and forth. Interesting. So Arya also says he prefers to cut this stone in sunset tourmaline, but says the design works great in gemstones of any refractive index from topaz to rutile. So this design should work fine for our green zircon. Okay, for our green zircon, since this is a round design, the best way for me to put it into my Ultra Tec machine is to take advantage of the keyed dot feature, which is this 45-degree cut on the rear of the dot. So that goes in one way on our Ultra Tec. You can override it easily just by moving the stone up, but if you twist the stone, it comes up a little bit. But you could put a stone in any way you want into your spindle, but because it's round, to me it's best to put it in the way the keyed dot feature is designed for, and that'll help a little bit when we do the transfer, make sure things are lined up properly. I'll still check when I transfer to make sure that the girdle is properly aligned, but by using the keyed dot feature, I'm almost assured that the keyed dot feature that the transfer will go smoothly and the top and bottom will be aligned. So now I just tighten up the set screw and we're ready to start on our Sunset Vista design. So for our green zircon, the first line of instruction is to cut the first row of facets at an angle of 44.49 degrees. So you set your Ultra Tec at 49.49, put it on the right index tooth, which is the number 3 tooth. And since this is a smaller stone, this is the first lap I'm going to use, my 12M lap, about a 1500 grit lap. And I cut the first row. I think some of your experienced cutters were saying, nope, don't start with the 12M. So after I started cutting on that first facet, it seems to me that it'll work, but it's going to be a little slower, a lot slower than if I use a little rougher of a lap. So I'm going to go to my 600 grit topper and preform with that. Even though this is a small stone, I think my 600 grit topper will work just fine. I don't think I need anything rougher than that, but 12M would get it done, but 600 is going to get it done faster. So the 600 grit topper made quick work of our preforming. So now I'll use my 12M and go over it again. Now I didn't bring the top to a center point yet. It's almost there, but not quite. And I need to bring the stone in a little bit because there's an inclusion here I want to get rid of, and this piece of indentation on the rough. Now I don't need to cut the girdle all the way up to here, which would make a very small stone, because I can bring the top down and take care of some of this. But if I bring the pavilion, not the top, it's the top now, but this is the bottom half of the stone. When I bring this down, I need to make sure I have enough rough left to cut the upper half of the stone. And the way you determine that is by your instructions. They have size data, and you go to your C/W figure. C being the crown, which is the upper half of the stone, width being, W being the width. So if you measure your width, multiply it by the figure that's given to you in the size data, 0.148. I need 0.88 millimeters, because it's 6.3 millimeters wide right now. And I just quite don't have that. I need to bring the stone in a little bit, but I need to bring it in anyway because a 6.3 millimeter stone is a little bit harder for BOPIE to find a mounting for. So I'm going to bring it to the next calibrated size, a 6 millimeter size. I'm going to try to cut this 6 millimeters wide, which gives BOPIE plenty of options for mounting this stone in a piece of jewelry, and it'll get rid of this inclusion here and this indentation a little bit. And then I can bring the top down, and by bringing it in, it's going to bring the upper half, this what we're calling the girdle right now, bringing the stone in, that goes up. So then when I bring the pavilion down, as long as I still have enough space for my upper half of my stone, we're in good shape. So that's it for the 600 grit topper. Now I'll use my 12M. Okay, I've gone over all the facets with my 13,000 grit diamond on a bat lap. And the P2 and P3 line of instructions, this is the first time I've gone over those at all. So I waited until I got my pre-polished lap before I went over it. And so now I'm going to polish the stone, and I'm going to use 60,000 grit diamond on a bat lap. Could use a zinc lap, but I think I'll use my bat lap. Okay, this is my current light bulb, and I've upgraded it. So this is a LED 100 watt light bulb. So let me show you what an incandescent light bulb would look like. And this is a incandescent clear light bulb 100 watt. So a lot of cutters have told me that with the clear bulb, it's easier to see scratches. It's definitely a little bit brighter. It's both 100 watt bulbs, but that's the difference between an incandescent and a LED. The problem is that our Congress kind of outlawed incandescent 100 watt bulbs. So if you buy them, you have to buy them. They're still available, the ones that are floating around, but they're a lot more expensive. But if you want one, you need to get it now because it's getting harder and harder to find incandescent bulbs. This is a 100 watt clear incandescent light bulb, not frosted. The lighting fixture for the Ultra Tec machine takes a 100 watt bulb, but it's getting harder and harder to find incandescent bulbs as they are being phased out here in the USA due to the Energy Independence and Security Act of 2007. Apparently, the total ban takes effect 2023, just around the corner. I don't want to make a political statement, just saying that if you want a 100 watt incandescent bulb for your gem cutting, you better stock up now. So our Zircon polished right up with 60,000 grit diamond on a bat lap, and so now I'll transfer the stone and cut the upper half of the stone. I still have this bit of inclusion here, right here on the side. Most of that will cut out, but there'll be a little bit left. So ideally, when they mount this into jewelry, they would put a prong to cover that piece. And there's an internal inclusion which you can kind of see right there. Little veil, and that's going to be in the final stone as well. But other than that, it's clean. So I'll transfer the stone. Okay, the top part of this stone, I had just enough rough space for the top part, a little bit excess. And it's a small stone, so that translates to that I was able to start on the upper half with my 600 grit topper lap, 600 grit diamond, and then I went to my 12M and put the little checkerboards on the top. Look, the design's looking pretty good. So now I'll go to 13,000 grit diamond on a bat lap and pre-polish it with that, get the facets right where I want them, and then go to polish. Okay, I finished polishing up the upper half of our stone, and I still have to cut and polish the table, although with this checkerboard design, it looks like you could just leave it as is, but since it's a small stone, you could easily do that. But I'm going to go ahead and cut the table, and I'm interested to see what this design looks like after I get it off the dop. Okay, to cut and polish the table, I'm not going to need much. I'm not going to need to move much rough. So I will, I'll start with my 13,000 grit diamond on a bat lap as the first lap that I use to cut this table, because I don't want to overcut. Okay, and you can see the table right there. So I might have been able to get by with my 6,000 grit diamond on a zinc lap. I don't think my 12M lap, I think that might have been too aggressive. I think I'd be overcutting. And anything rougher than that, I definitely would have overcut this facet. So I'll just continue to walk this facet until the ends just touch the other facets. Okay, I finished with my 13,000 grit diamond working on the table there. I think any rougher of a lap really would have overcut it, except maybe a 6,000 grit. So now I'll use my 60,000 grit diamond on a bat lap and polish this table up, and we'll take the stone off the dop. I'm interested to see what this design looks like. Today I cut a green zircon into a round design called Sunset Vista. This design looks great and it was fun to cut. I don't think any cutter would have difficulty cutting this design, and I would recommend you give this design a try. I also changed out the light bulb in the light fixture of my Ultra Tec machine. The fixture holds a 100-watt bulb, and I had been using an LED bulb. However, several other cutters recommended that I try a clear, as in not frosted, incandescent light bulb instead of an LED bulb. They told me that it's easier to pick up scratches. Now I have a lifetime supply of incandescent bulbs, as they are being phased out because they're not as energy efficient as the other types of light bulbs on the market. So is it easier to spot scratches in your work with a clear incandescent bulb? I'll need to test that theory out on a few stones going forward before I say for certain, but I will say the incandescent bulb is definitely brighter than my old LED bulb, both 100 watt, and I believe it is easier to see scratches, but again, I'll need to test it out on a few more stones before being sold on this theory. And if any of you have opinions on lighting, please let me know in the comments. Also, please let me know in the comments what you think of the gemstone and this awesome design. And as always, happy fasting, everyone.